Salutations everyone, today we're going to be talking about the Battle of the Five Gods tournament. With all five gods in attendance, we had some nice pool play, a playoff bracket, and the grand finals. Was a hell of a thing. There was a few things, as always, to look out for, especially when you have all five gods in attendance, and Westballz, once again, as typical for this year, at least so far, no Leffen in attendance. Even with that new Red Bull sponsor, couldn't get it done. Unfortunately, don't know exactly what the details are with that, but we would love to see Leffen get in these super stack tournaments to see what he can do. But we had all five gods in attendance. That's always super exciting, especially since PPMD doesn't travel to and do tournaments nearly as often as any of the other gods. And we also had some troublemakers in there with Westballz, Plup, Wobbles, Silent Wolf, all looking to make some disturbances in that tournament. And there's a few questions going in. One was who's Westballz going to take out? This dude's been on an absolute tear this year, performing better, having his two best performances, I think, in his last two tournaments, and just showing that he is on a different echelon than other players. And so it was just like, who's Westballz going to take out? Who's he going to take out? Well, he took out Mango. He's beaten him before, and that was really cool to see. And there was the other question was, can anybody beat Armada? And much like other people, I myself was thinking, no, he's going to win the tournament as he always does. But no, not only did Armada lose, he lost twice. He didn't make it to grand finals. He lost in winners finals to Hungrybox and 3-0. I don't think I've ever seen Armada been 3-0'd. At least he hasn't in the time that I've been watching Melee competitively. And then he lost 3-2 in losers finals to Mango, which brought up a Hungrybox Mango grand finals, which is very exciting. We got to see a reset bracket. And then Hungrybox was able to take the victory in the second set, 3-1. Pretty commanding victory there. And it was a hell of a tournament. Very interesting. A very well put together tournament at South by Southwest. The presentation, the cinematics, the sound, the stage, everything was top notch. One of the more professional looking Smash Brothers tournaments I think that has been put together. And it was very nice and entertaining to watch. We had all of the pools set up with a god at the top and all of the other challengers. We had Hungrybox winning out his pool 3-0 against Wobbles, Shroomed, and Lucky. Then he had Mewtwo King winning out his pool 3-0 against Plup, S2J, and Nintendude. And then you had Mango winning his pool 3-0 against MacD, Axe, and Drugged Fox. And then you had Westballz taking his pool 3-0 over PPMD, Pew Pew U, and Ice, as you would expect. PPMD, one of the lesser talked about gods because of the lack of tournament play that he has had recently, and the fact that Westballz has been on such a tear. It was pretty safe to say that he was going to be taking that pool out against a god, and that PPMD was going to be the first to lose. And then you had Armada taking his pool 3-0 against Silent Wolf, SFAT, and Hugs. And then you had your final results after the playoff, which Wobbles ended up on top with Plup also moving on, losing out MacD and PPMD, and Silent Wolf squeaking by with a 2-2 record into bracket play. And the finals bracket, that's when we finally got to see, gods facing each other. It's where we saw gods fall outside of PPMD, who lost in the playoffs 0-4 against MacD, Silent Wolf, Plup, and Wobbles. And then, of course, you had your results. Hungrybox taking home the crown, the number 2 smasher in the world, finally beating Armada on NTSC, and then taking out Mango once again, after Mango resetting the bracket. But when it comes to Hungrybox, Mango, those sets and games are usually determined pretty early. In every single game, whoever won the first stock ended up being the winner. Just historically and recently, the way that those two have been playing in that matchup, first game usually wins the set, and usually it's the first stock that will win that game, and that is what happened here. Armada with the third place, not the usual place that we see him in. We always see him in top 2, but this time he lost to 2 other gods. And Wobbles, 4th place, absolutely taking names, having one hell of a tournament for himself. Plup, also another assassin out there with his Sheik and Samus. Westballz, disappointing with his 5th place finish. We probably would have expected him to be 4th based off of what we've seen from other players recently. Silent Wolf having a strong finish with 7th and also tied with 7th. Mewtwo King with that Sheik, Marth, Peach, Fox combo. He brought a little bit of the Fox out, knowing that he would need it if he ended up playing Hungrybox, unfortunately being taken out by Wobbles. So let's take a look at the tape. And let's start with Wobbles, because this dude had a hell of a tournament. The best that I've ever seen the dude play easily. His platform gaming was fantastic, getting so good setups for his grabs, for the wobbling. The move, of course, named after himself. And he was playing fantastic, beating Shroomed 3-0, beating Lucky 3-2. Then he loses 3-0 to Hungrybox, because we know he has trouble against the floaties, and that's who he lost to, with one exception. Then he beats Silent Wolf 3-1, loses to MacD's Peach 3-1. Then he beats Plup 3-2 in a super exciting matchup. That was the best game, or second best game that I saw him play. When that Westballz match was the best that I've ever seen him play. Then he 3-0s PPMD. Then he gets 3-0'd by Armada's Peach, as one would expect. The counterpick of counterpicks, Peach against those ices. And then he eliminates Mewtwo King 3-0 in that match, after Mewtwo King was able to take care of Nintendude. We know that early in the year, he lost to Nintendude, and then he beats Wobbles. So it's like, did he have a problem against Ice Climbers? No, he doesn't. But then he beats Nintendude, and then he loses to Wobbles after some crazy things. Mewtwo King, you always know going in, if you follow him on Twitter, whether he's really feeling it or not. He has the anti-shulk Twitter feed, in that he basically only tells you when he's not feeling it. And this was definitely one of those tournaments. And the game is, very, very much mental. And then when he loses that jump on that platform as Peach and then dies in the first game, it was over. It was over, because that's just the way that the momentum was going, and not the strongest of fortitudes in this tournament for Mewtwo King, and losing with the Marth and with the Fox after that. So Wobbles taking out two gods at this point, and then he beats Westballz 3-1. I think that was his best set. That was phenomenal. His platform play on that, those setups into his grabs were incredible. Not only killing with the wobble, but with the Nana trade-offs, and with an up smash as well, I believe, earlier in the set. And then he gets eliminated by Mango 3-1, the only non-floaty that he lost to in the tournament. He lost to MacD's Peach and Armada's Peach, and Hungrybox's Jigglypuff, 3-1, 3-0, and 3-0, respectively, only to lose to Mango 3-1 there in the final bracket. And then there was Westballz, a lot of attention being paid to him based off of what he has done in tournament this year, beating Ice 3-1, beating Pew 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 3-2, beating PPMD very, very handily 3-1. And then he easily destroyed Mango 3-1, and then we're like, all right, we knew someone was going to beat Mango. It was always one of those questions. It's like, is Mewtwo King feeling it, or is he not? And is this going to be a Mango losers bracket tournament, or is it going to be a Mango winner bracket tournament? Because he always seems to be more dangerous when he gets sent to losers, and he gets sent to losers by Westballz very easily 3-1. And then Westballz gets eliminated by Wobbles 3-2. That was the heartbreaker there. For Westballz. Had a great tournament, but Wobbles was having the better tournament, taking out just a ton of people, Plup and PPMD and Mewtwo King, also taking out Westballz there, of course. Then he had PPMD 3-0ing Pew Pew U, and then he beats Ice 3-1, loses to Westballz and Plup 3-1, loses to MacD 3-0, and loses to Wobbles 3-0. So 4 losses there for PPMD after surviving his brackets, only losing to Westballz, but definitely not what maybe some people will expect to see when it comes to 5 gods. It wasn't a top 5 finish for those gods, with PPMD finishing, I think, tied for 15th or something like that, the worst finish out of any of the 5 gods. Doesn't stack up against Mewtwo King, who won his tournament, beating S2J 3-1, Nintendude 3-0, and then Plup's Samus 3-0, and then in the winner's bracket, losing to Plup's Sheik on that Sheik Ditto 3-2. Best set of the tournament, many people thinking, especially when he was down 4-2 in that set on Fountain of Dreams, to bring it back and win 2-0, a 2-stock, after being down 4-2, and he just brought that back. That was absolutely phenomenal. That was that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, is Mewtwo King going to pull this back? after being down 2-0 in the set and being down 4-2 in the game, brings it back, wins the second one, takes it to game 5, and then loses on the last stock. That was one hell of a set there. The Plup Mewtwo King winners bracket, and then he gets eliminated by Wobbles 3-0 after the aforementioned Peach fiasco, and then he tries to go to the Marth, which you can understand. He was able to beat Nintendude in that third game after taking him out with the Peach a couple of times. So we know that he could, desync Nana and Popo with the Marth, but he clearly wasn't feeling it. And also lost with the Fox that he had some warm-up time with, and felt that he needed to bring it if he was going to win this tournament, because he would have to face Hungrybox, because that's something that you're going to have to take care of, because Hungrybox and Armada are the two people that just go through winners. Between a lot of the top players, those are the two that are just always in winners. You'll see Mango in losers, you'll see Mewtwo King in losers, you'll see Westballz or Plup, or Leffen, or Silent Wolf, or Axe and losers, and then trouble happens there. But you're going to have to deal with those floaties. Mango, of course, a lot of attention being paid to him off of his fantastic results that he's had so far this year, and this was definitely not a disappointment for the billions of Mango fans out there, beating MacD 3-0, DrugFox 3-0, and then beating Axe 3-2. In his pool, the only person we knew who had a shot at beating Mango was Axe. He was the most recent person to beat him before bracket play in the last few tournaments, so we know he could do it. We knew that Westballz could do it, who was eventually the first one to do it and send him to losers, but Axe dropped that 5th game, and Mango moved on after beating everyone in that pool. Then he beats Silent Wolf 3-1, then he loses to Westballz 3-1, then he beats Plup 3-1, then he beats Wobbles 3-1, once again the only non-floaty that Wobbles lost to. Then he beats Armada 3-2 in losers finals, fantastic set, tons of hype. It was really weird to see Armada drop consecutive sets and not be in grand finals. But, I mean, Mango earned it. He was playing a much more patient game this tournament. He stuck with the Fox the entire time. We didn't see any Falco whatsoever, and we knew this going into the tournament. And he played a little bit more patient, and that's how he was able to take that first set against Hungrybox 3-0. He was putting on a lot of damage fairly early on, getting the first stock in each of those games. But in the grand final set 2 against Hungrybox was able to get much better stage positioning and throwing out more safe walls of pain on those back airs off stage, and was easily able to punish Mango on his recovery, and Mango wasn't able to get as much pressure, and Hungrybox was able to hold stage presence a lot better in that second set after not having much Foxes to fight within the tournament for Hungrybox, because he 3-0'd Lucky fairly early on, and then he 3-0's Wobbles, 3-1 Shroomed, 3-1 Silent Wolf, who he elected to go against to get that Fox practice, and then he 3-1's Westballz, then he 3-0's Armada in winners finals uber convincingly, and then loses that first set against Mango, and then takes it in Grands set 2. Speaking of Armada, take a look at his results. Beats SFAT 3-1, beats Hugs 3-0, beats Silent Wolf 3-1, which we know would have been his best chance at maybe dropping a game or two. Then he 3-0's Wobbles easily with that matchup. Then he beats Plup in a nice close set 3-2. That was one of those moments where we thought, man, is Plup going to be the assassin of this tournament? But it ended up being Wobbles. Then Armada gets 3-0'd by Hungrybox in winners finals and lost 3-2 to Mangoes in losers finals. So in a tournament with all 5 gods in attendance, we didn't get to see a ton of God on God play, but we got to see Armada Hungrybox, we got to see Armada Mango, and we got to see Mango Hungrybox. And Hungrybox was ended up beating both of them to get the victory. And there was a lot of talk about 5 gods and who deserves to be where. And for some reason, they were questioning Mewtwo King's god status in this, because they were trying to talk about each individual player. What do you guys think about PPMD? And Armada goes on about how amazing his neutral game is and how it's so hard to get in. But he ends up dropping 12 out of 14 games in this tournament. And they start saying how Mewtwo King was at his best in 2008 and how he isn't as it's just not as dominant as he is, and they start talking, a little bit of friendly ragging on him, but the announcers are start talking about, should Mewtwo King lose his God Stash, which is ridiculous since he had, a 7th place finish, and PPMD is in, like, the bottom of the barrel with only 2 victories throughout this tournament. And it was kind of crazy. They went on about how when all 5 gods were in attendance, only PPMD, Mango, and Armada have won. Well, now we can add Hungrybox to that list. But based off of this tournament and the last couple of years, Mewtwo King is easily better than PPMD. PPMD loses to people that Mewtwo King doesn't, and Mewtwo King always gets better results. So that was kind of awkward, but we know the bias that the entire community has against Mewtwo King, and it doesn't help when he expresses himself on social media. And it was a shame that we didn't get to see what Hungrybox had to say in their interviews, but we got to see a little bit more of Mango and Armada and Mewtwo King and PPMD in those interviews, and it was just a very nice, well put together tournament. And Hungrybox ended up on top and is the one true god for this year's Battle of the 5 Gods. Definitely showing easily the best player in America. You cannot make that argument otherwise. He has earned that number 2 ranking and has beaten everybody this year so far. Not in every tournament, but he's beaten everybody, and no other player can say that with that as much consistency, except for Armada, who has now lost to Jigglypuffs twice this year against Hungrybox. So it'll be very, very cool to see the momentum going forward for Wobbles, for Westballz, for Hungrybox, for Mango. See if Armada can get back to a grand finals, if he can get his revenge against Mango and or Hungrybox, and to see if Left-Hand can get in there for once and stir up some trouble. And if Mewtwo King can get on his game for a tournament, it would be very exciting to see how far he can go. So those are my thoughts on the Battle of the 5 Gods tournament. Very, very, very fun. And yeah, the Puff is king. What you know about it?